So the question becomes, why is the home inspection licensing exam so hard to pass? Hey, I'm Matt Warner with the Inspection Academy. I've been a professional home inspector here in Texas for 6 years. I also have a master's degree in education from Texas Tech University. I built the Inspection Academy to help aspiring home inspectors get their qualifying education and pass their test on their first try. If you've been considering getting your home inspection license in the state of Texas, you should know that the Inspection Academy is the only school that uses instructional design and adult learning theory to develop their courses. Remember, we know what to teach because we're home inspectors. We know how to teach because we're educators. It's an industry that's only been around for about 50 years. And in that 40 to 50 years, as the education system has come around, who do you think has built home inspection schools? Home inspectors, right? And they probably had the best intentions in mind, helping more people learn about this career. But the simple fact is, they're home inspectors, so they may know a lot about the systems and components of the home, but how much do they know about education? So let me ask, would you hire a contractor to do the design for your home? I would guess if you got 100 contractors to try and design your home, there'd probably be about 50 to 60% that would come out correct. But contractors are trained to build your house, not to design your house. And architects are trained to design your house. So if you were actually able to hire that duo together, you're a lot more likely to get 90 to 100% satisfaction because the architect's doing what they're trained for and the contractor's doing what they're trained for. The same thing goes with home inspection education. Home inspectors know a lot about home inspection, but they've never been trained in how to teach people. So the system isn't broken, it was really never built correctly. So that's where the Inspection Academy comes in. With that said, let's look at the 4 types of schools that you have the opportunity to choose from outside of the Inspection Academy. The first option you have for qualifying education schools is the in-person classes. These are the classes that you're literally going to go sit in the classroom for 40 hours a week over the course of 4 weeks. During that time, they're going to go over all of the information that could possibly be on that licensing exam. However, at the end of the 154 hours, they're done. So it falls on you to try and figure out a way to learn or retain the information that they gave you. So it's not really so much education as it is information delivery. This type of school can work for many people if they have a background in construction or the systems and components of a house. However, if you don't have a tremendous amount of experience, this is going to be hard to remember all that information. It's like drinking water from a fire hose. It's just going to be coming at you very rapidly. If we liken an in-person school to watching movies, imagine watching around 78 movies, 2 hours a piece. And if you started on Monday and you watched a 2-hour movie and you made it through your day, in that 8-hour day, you would end up watching 4 movies. And over the course of the 5-day week, you'd end up watching 20 movies. And at the end of 154 hours, you'd end up watching almost 80 movies. Now, if you've never seen those movies before, and you had to take a test a couple of weeks later over the lines and topics and dialogue and everything that happened in those movies, how much information do you think you're going to recall? It was just one time through, right? So your recall won't be that high. That's what I liken the in-person classes to. It's going to be coming at you fast and furious, and it's going to be up to you to try and figure out a way to remember everything over the course of that 154 hours. The next type of course that we're going to talk about is your at-home learning. And there's 2 types. This one is essentially the read. They're going to give you books to read, and it falls on you to read the books, take some tests at the end of each book to prove that you're ready to move on to the next book. But everything is on you, from reading it to remembering it. So now, if we take the movie scenario, instead of watching the movie, you get to read the books. You have the ability to reread them, so it's not like the class where you can't retake the class, but it's going to be a slower process. And for some people, it's going to be very difficult to read that information, absorb that information, and retain that information. Again, there's just so much information. So this is a different angle, but it's also just as hard to try and retain all that information. And you're left alone to try and figure out a way to retain the information. They don't provide it for you. So this is a very difficult path forward also. So make sure as you're looking for schools that you're not getting just a reading school. I can't see how this would be beneficial to very many people. The third type of school I want to talk to you about is their online school. It is definitely online, but it's much different than the Inspection Academy's online courses. And the reason why is most of these courses are going to be video heavy with lots of video lectures, same type of lectures you get in the classroom, but now you're able to watch them in the comfort of your own home. So instead of going to the movies and watching these movies for the first time, this is more like having the DVDs and being able to watch them anytime you like and repeatedly if you want. Remember, if it's 154 hours to get through the first viewing of all the videos, it's going to be 308 hours to watch it twice. So it's going to take a lot of time. I feel like this is kind of a sad situation because in each of these situations, I took the books at home version. We all ended up looking for additional tools to help us pass the test. So now we're online after paying thousands of dollars to a school to educate us. We're now online looking for flashcards and sample tests and things to help us prepare because at the end of what they've provided us, we don't feel ready for that test. And obviously, almost 50% of the people fail because they're not ready for the test. I feel like that's a crime. So take it for what it's worth. The fourth type of school is something that's kind of new to me that I just recently discovered, and that's going to be another in-person course, but instead of being in a classroom, this type of course is going to have you out in the field watching as these structures are built from the ground up. I do believe this is a better course of action for helping students learn more about the home inspection industry, but it does have its drawbacks still. First of all, like the in-person classes, you've got to find 4 weeks of time you can take off from your job if you have one in order to go pursue these courses. At the end, just like an in-person course, after the 154 hours are provided to you, there's no additional reinforcement or help. So you're still stuck at the end with having seen most everything a handful of times. How do you remember all of the information? There's two commonalities with all of these schools. The first one is I'd be willing to bet every one of them has been built by a home inspector. And the second one is they don't involve very much reinforcement, if any at all. The test isn't difficult because it has difficult information on it. It's not a calculus test. It's difficult because of the amount of information. So for this particular test, the most important thing you need from a school is reinforcement. You need to work with the information as opposed to just hearing it once or twice in a lecture. That's what's going to help it create long-term memories, help your retention, and help you be better prepared to pass that licensing exam. So the Inspection Academy is different. We built the Inspection Academy to reinforce all of the information. So it's broken down section by section. So you're going to actually get the opportunity to read a section, and then you're going to do an activity that reinforces that information. And as you move through each section, you're going to see that information reinforced throughout the entire course. So you will see it in a variety of activities and exercises and different formats that allow you to engage with that information over and over to the point it just starts to stick in your long-term memory. That's how we will retain this information and help you pass that test on your first try. With that being said, the Inspection Academy is not for everyone. If you have a tremendous amount of experience in construction and the systems and components of a house, it's going to be overkill for you. You do not need all the reinforcement my school provides. That would be more of an in-person course for you so you could get through it more quickly. The reality is we're not the fastest school and we're not the easiest school. In fact, we are the most thorough school, and you're probably going to do more work to get through our school than any other school in the state. If you've been seriously looking for a home inspection school to help you prepare for the qualifying education exams, you should know that you have several options. And to be honest, the Inspection Academy may not be right for you. We've provided a sample exam that you can access through the link in the description below. If you need, we've also provided a link to schedule an online meeting with me so we can discuss what might be the best option for you, even if it's not our school.